Moving along to rice now, that sort of influence came from the Chinese, who were also indentured labourers during the time, the 19th century, under British rule in Jamaica. And they brought in all the different rices. Now, rice and peas is the one that everybody looks at the most. Rice and peas, which is this sort of pink colour, and the rice gets its colour from the peas, which is cooked in coconut milk. You've got some fresh thyme, wild thyme, some pimento, some garlic, and the peas are cooked, or the kidney beans are cooked like that. And once they're cooked, then the rice is added to it. And that's what gives it its distinctive flavour and colour. Now with rice and peas, that's really more, over here it certainly has been more of a special occasion. It goes on Sundays with your Sunday dinner, rice and peas and chicken. And then on a Sundays, if your family could afford it, then you'd have your plantains, you might have ackee for breakfast, you might have some fried dumplings, you know. So it's more of an occasion rice. But also we do different rices. So you have plain rice, just ordinary plain boiled rice. You can have a seasoned rice, which is a rice seasoned with vegetables. You can have a rice seasoned with prawns or shrimps. Again, those are the Chinese influences. So there's all different manner of types of rice that you can have, not just this, but these again are the most popular. You don't necessarily just have to use kidney beans. Rice and peas is also lovely here with black-eyed peas, and that gives you actually quite a different flavour. You've got to remember, if you ever go and ask for it, it's not green peas, the peas are kidney beans. That's always the most common mistake made, and people are always quite surprised when they see that. Now, in Jamaica, we tend to use a lot of coconuts, so either it be coconut milk or fresh coconut, because coconuts grow there. Again, another item brought from the Africas, and coconuts are brought there, and people will shin up a tree, get a coconut, and literally just smash it on the ground, crack it open and drink the milk or the water, whatever's in there. Or it's grated into food, you know, to give it a much creamier, a much richer texture. You can see we've got a little picture of all the different markets here. I've got some chocho here, which is quite a strange looking vegetable, but when you peel it, it actually has the texture of an apple. Now, chocho, it can be used again in soups or steamed with peppers, or it can be used as a pickling item when you do what they call as pickled pepper, and it can be used in that. So, you know, there's a lot of different, again, all the dishes are versatile and can be used in many, many different ways. Again, with the Indians, when they came later on, they tended to bring your Scotch bonnets, which I've got here again, and all your different spices. We tend to use a lot of powdered seasonings, whether it be curry or anything, cumin, paprika, any cayenne, black pepper, and usually your meat is rubbed with the dry seasoning, and then whatever other flavour you want on it, be it a jerk or a seasoning, is then added to it. Always seasoned overnight. If you really want a good flavour, you can season it minimum a couple of hours before, but if you really want that deep flavour, you know, the seasoning or the marinading of the food's quite important. Just to talk about a couple of other famous dishes from Jamaica, everyone's heard of curried goat. And if you note, with Caribbeans, we always put the word curry before the meat. So it's not goat curry, it's curried goat, curry chicken. So it's always done in that way. The curried goat is just an amazing meat. People are always sort of, oh, I don't want to eat goats and everything. Goat is quite similar to lamb, actually, but actually a lot more tender. And again, with goat, you only use the male goat, you only use the ram goat, you never use the female goat because it's a better flavour. And again, that's just seasoned overnight with onions, with your scallions, your Scotch bonnet peppers, ordinary onions, your thyme, garlic, a little bit of your pimento, your dry seasoning, and your curry powder, which is all mixed into the meat, covered, and then left overnight to marinate. Slow cooked. Goat takes probably about 3 hours to cook. I mean, I know they can do it in pressure cookers now, but it takes about 3 hours to cook. And it is cooked literally until the meat is coming away from the bone. absolutely delicious, and that can be as hot or as mild as you like it, and that's usually served with white rice. But you can have vegetables with it, you know, you can have whatever. Usually with most Caribbean dishes, there's always salad items on the table, which they actually call vegetables. So you've always got to be a bit where you know, when they say if you want vegetables, it means that you're getting salad quite often. And that's always served, and that is one of our most famous dishes. I mean, we do it here in the shop here in Colchester, so you know, it's there. Another dish is oxtail, which is, if you think about it, is the ox's tail, which is chopped into sections. That's also marinated, but not curried. That also takes 3 hours to cook. But that's a real lovely, just winter dish, and it's made in a very deep, rich gravy and seasoned, as they say. You can either put some carrots with it, but certainly always add butter beans to give it a much more flavourful component to it. And that is a lovely winter dish. Then traditionally on Saturdays, you always have a soup, red pea soup, which is seasoned with, we always say seasoned with pork, or generally pig's tail, really, which is actually super delicious. And with your kidney beans, and your kidney beans are cooked in your coconut and your thyme and your garlic, cooked for hours. Then you add your dumplings, and it's called spinners. So now if you have ordinary big dumplings, they're sort of done in sort of discs like this. With these are spinners. So they're rubbed between your hands like that and just dipped into the pot. And that on a Saturday, let me tell you, and that can be all year round, that is just amazing. And you know, it's very hard to imagine that you could have a kidney bean soup, but it's quite spicy and it is really incredible. Just one other thing that the British did bring in as well was the idea. We have the Jamaican patties. Most people have heard of those. Very similar to the pasty, but just brought in because, you know, they were wanting something like a hot pie. And it's just really a spicy meat, be it lamb, beef, chicken, or a vegetable encased in quite a flaky pastry. And you know, you can buy these, I mean, they're world famous, you can buy these anywhere. And most kids, you know, or most people coming to and from work or lunch, or depending where they are, will have a patty as a quick snack, as you would here. You know, I would hear a pasty or a sausage roll. So there are many, many commonalities with our foods. The other thing that we do tend to add to our foods, because we like them, we've got some hot pepper sauce here, which is very hot. We tend to tell people not to put it on like ketchup, but they always do. Just sprinkle it on your food, because it is very, very hot, and it is made from Scotch bonnet, but it can add something different, a different flavour to your food. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope this piques your interest and maybe you want to investigate further on your own. I've enjoyed talking to you and enjoyed talking about food, which I talk about all the time. Most of these items now can be bought in most major supermarkets up and down the country. But as we're based in Colchester, if you want to try Jamaican, authentic Jamaican food, there's the S&S Caribbean Cafe, 39 St John Street. Also, just on Queen Street, there is an African food shop called Food Choice, which you'll be able to get most of all of these dishes, the spices, the ackee, etc., to buy. And there are various other shops around the town. But in most Tesco's, in most major supermarkets, you'll be able to get these dishes. I really hope this helps, and I hope that, you know, you'll be able to ask questions that, you know, hopefully we can provide more answers for. Thank you very much.